Be prepared, not scared. A KNOE 8 News special report brought to you by Fox Tree Service, James Spivey, the bankruptcy attorney, and Max Fresh Market.
Good evening. I'm KNOE 8 Chief Meteorologist Tom Pearson. On any given day, weather conditions are ordinarily benign and pose little danger to life or property. However, there are typically at least a few times per year within our viewing area that lives and property can be threatened by severe weather. Indeed, we're now well into our severe weather season and quickly approaching the peak of severe weather activity here in the South. Over the next 30 minutes, the weather staff at KNOE hope to educate you about the various types of severe weather that affect us here in this region and provide you with information about what to do or not to do when severe weather threatens. Be prepared, not scared. Now, one of the most important aspects about adverse weather to be familiar with is the difference between a severe weather watch and severe weather warning. A tornado watch, for example, means that conditions are favorable for the formation of intense thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes. Thunderstorms may not be occurring at this time, and the sky may even be clear. This is actually the time to make any necessary preparations and remain alert for the possibility of rapidly changing weather. Now, weather watches are generally issued for a large geographical area and remain in effect typically for at least 6 hours. A severe weather warning is an urgent message to take immediate action. Adverse weather is occurring at this time or is expected to occur within minutes. Warnings are typically issued for one or just a couple of counties or parishes and are usually in effect for an hour or less. It's also important to learn what county or parish you live in and what towns and counties or parishes surround you. Now, for their size, tornadoes are the most powerful and at times one of the most unpredictable weather phenomenon on Earth. They are not unique to the United States, but more occur here than anywhere else on the planet. However, on average, tornadoes at the top of the intensity scale represent generally 1% or less of the 1,300 or so tornadoes reported annually in the United States. However, they are usually responsible for the vast majority of all tornado-related fatalities. Now, tornadoes can and do occur during any month of the year and at any time of the day or night, as long as weather conditions are conducive for their formation. And while more tornadoes tend to form across an area of the plains that encompasses parts of the states from Texas northward to South Dakota called Tornado Alley, there is a secondary area called Dixie Alley. This area roughly extends across northern Louisiana eastward to South Carolina and as far north as Kentucky. And although tornadoes are less frequent in these states than they are in the southern plains, the southeastern states have had more tornado-related deaths than any of the plain states, excluding Texas. This is in part due to the relatively high number of strong, long-track tornadoes and higher population density of this region, as well as the southern United States having the highest percentage of manufactured homes in the U.S., where slightly more than 60% of the overall tornado-related fatalities occur. Now, tornadoes typically move from southwest to northeast or east to west with a forward speed of about 40 miles per hour, but can move in any direction and at much faster or slower speeds. A few even remain stationary or temporarily reverse their direction of movement. Now, while the average lifespan of a tornado is only about 10 minutes, some have been documented to last as long as several hours and traverse multiple states. Now, there are also some reoccurring myths about tornadoes that could lead you to a false sense of security. A few of the more common ones are that tornadoes will not cross valleys or rivers or strike major metropolitan cities, or that these features will prevent their formation or help in their dissipation. However, this is simply not true. Near Salt Lake City, Utah, a tornado in August of 1999 crossed a canyon, descending one side and rising up the other about halfway along its path. And there have been numerous times that tornadoes have crossed the Mississippi River at various points along its length. The most notable occurring on March 18, 1925, when the deadliest tornado in U.S. history roared across the Mississippi River undeterred, ultimately killing 695 people. Now, a number of cities have also taken direct hits over the years from tornadoes, including Miami, St. Louis, Dallas, Atlanta, Minneapolis, Shreveport, Little Rock, and Oklahoma City, just to name a few. In fact, Oklahoma City has the dubious honor of having had more tornadoes within its boundaries than any other city in the United States. Incredibly, more than 100 tornadoes have touched down or moved into the city limits of Oklahoma City. Now, due to the sheer vertical size and volume of a tornado's circulation, valleys, rivers, even skyscrapers have no effect on the formation or dissipation of tornadoes. So being prepared and knowing what to do and what not to do when a tornado approaches is of the utmost importance. The average lead time during a tornado warning is now around 20 minutes, but if you're unprepared, it may only be a few minutes or even a few seconds.
All of this stuff that is right here and in there was on top of me. I was inside that bathtub. I swore we were gonna die. All I could do was pray.
All the windows everything just come through, like my house inhaled and just let it out.
I mean, I was up in the air off the ground. It picked me up, I was floating. I mean, I knelt down, I had both kids, and it picked me up off the ground and I flew back into a wall, the back bathroom wall.
This one definitely did not sound like a train. It was more of a whistling noise. And the house, you could just hear the pieces of the house tearing off.
There used to be a 50-foot aluminum trailer over there. That's what's hanging up with the tree up there.
But it just seemed like it was a matter of seconds, just a few seconds.
Now, in the past, you may have seen interviews with people in the aftermath of a tornado and hear them say that they received no warning. Now, this is highly unlikely today with the technology, storm spotters, and social media that is available and used to detect and warn about adverse weather. It's actually far more likely that the people that say they had no warning were actually the ones that did not heed forecasts, severe weather watches, or warnings. They were not prepared. When adverse weather is forecast, remain informed throughout the day or night by watching KNOE or monitoring a NOAA weather radio. If a tornado warning is issued for your area, take immediate precautions. If you're outside, go inside a well-built structure, and if you're inside, stay inside. Do not go to a window or worse yet, outside to have a look around. Seek shelter in the lowest level of your home or best of all, below ground level in a storm shelter or a basement. If a basement or storm shelter is not available, then find a small room in the center portion of your home, such as a bathroom or closet. Avoid large rooms, tall ceilings, and especially rooms or areas that have windows or doors that lead to the outdoors. Now, if time permits, bring a pillow with you to cover your head and protect it from falling or flying debris. If you find yourself driving in a remote area and a sturdy structure is unavailable, it is probably generally best to get out of your vehicle and seek shelter in a ditch or a culvert, and probably not under a highway overpass. Cars and trucks can easily be overturned, tumbled, or even become airborne and be carried hundreds of yards. However, every situation is different, and in certain conditions, it might be best to remain in your vehicle. Ultimately, it becomes the responsibility of each individual to decide what action is best under the given circumstances. Still to come on Be Prepared, Not Scared, meteorologist Kyle Myers explains the dangers of lightning and finds two students who were struck by lightning and live to tell about it.